All right, we're gonna test this. It's not so hot right now. Sun's gone down. Let me see. Make sure we got people getting on here. We're gonna give you some updates for Operation Backyard Brawl. Clear up a few confusions, rumors that are being put out there. Just so people can know that we're able to provide evidence of everything we're telling you that's happening out here. So I'm gonna wait to see. Here we go. All right, we got people popping on now. There are people saying that we're in an area where there's no trafficking and that we're wasting our time and that we're so far removed from the border. We want any individuals that want to come out, we can take you 93 miles north of the border and we can take you to coyote camps. These are active coyote camps. These are camps where they're trafficked all the way up from the border, 93 miles north. What we found is a lot of these individuals are being piggybacked by four-wheelers and pickup trucks. A lot of the ranches and private property and farms coming up from the south up to this area. We're looking at 3 large farming operations, quote-unquote ranching operations in particular out here, private property, where there's absolutely zero doubt that they are allowing the illegals to cross through their property and use their property. And in some cases, they're actually putting out humanitarian aid for them, food, water, clothing, medical, things like that, knowing that they're using their property and allowing them to pass through up into this area where we are. Now, where we're stationed is we're far north of 3 big ranch operations. That's the TO itself, part of their reservation is part of this human trafficking trail. It's not just a drug trail. It's a human trafficking trail. And with us being up north, now all the bodies are starting to get stacked up south of us, and we're making it very hard for them to move. Our southern team, for those of you who don't know, was part of that group that got the 8 individuals, 1 coyote that actually had prison tats and a couple cell phones. These are independent operators that are part of Operation Backyard Brawl. We're grateful for these type of groups because while all the social media drama and the focus and everything can be pounding on us, they can just go out and do their job, and they're doing a great job. Now, we've had our 3rd incident of stupidity out here where someone's been removed. So just to give you brief what transpired today, after Charlie got back, Alpha, of course, went out today. And they uncovered, we went into hit areas that we were chasing them out. Alpha's been hitting areas where they're trying to hunker down during the day to get rest, to hide in these washes and thickets of trees. And we go crashing through in the middle of the day with a bunch of people to make them get up and scatter and leave. Well, one of the areas that they crashed through, and we actually had live videos of where we found the scout's position with a pallet on top of a tree. And the fresh coyote packs where they left their water. There was women clothes there. We've got that video that's up. They went back to recheck this area because we left it alone for a couple weeks. Today they came across 200 pounds, estimated they're saying 200 pounds of marijuana. There was 4 satchels out there. It had been sitting out there probably about a couple weeks, they said, from the way it looked. So we're assuming that that day we chased out the people, they actually had to drop a load. Now, someone decided to take it upon themselves to grab some of that marijuana, put it in a pouch, and bring it back to Camp Pulaski and bury it out here in the desert. When I got back, I went to the team. We got the report of exactly what happened. The teams told us exactly what would happen, who was responsible for it, to which I explained that if you knew this was going on, you're responsible for it too. So we've got some people that have to go through crime scene prevention or securing a crime scene, basically. Again, if you see anything illegal happening. Now, that individual had to unbury the marijuana that he took, had to burn it off. Don't worry, everybody was upwind, so they had to destroy it, and is no longer part of our SAR program. Now, this is the 3rd instance. We had an individual who cut a wire independently, a live feeder wire with his little axe. He was removed. We had an individual who came out and tried to tell our teams to go and be on a live video and then have a bunch of gunfire go off in the distance and end the live video so everyone has a cliffhanger and it'll get us more attention. That individual is gone. And we had an individual who did something stupid, and he's gone now. Now, I filed a report with, I sent the Border Patrol an email because we're just going to be honest and transparent. And notified him the individual was removed, the steps we took. I also gave him the coordinates of where all the drugs are sitting right now. And none of our teams none of our guys have any authorization to go out there to get involved with that anymore because they had a chance to do it right and they did it wrong. This is just so we can be honest with you guys and you realize we're not going to hide anything. And if someone makes a mistake, there's too many people out here that do a good thing. And sometimes somebody can make just a really stupid mistake. I mean, it's just like, it's so dumb. You're just like, oh, why? But remember, clear majority of these individuals are out here doing it right. And I did send Border Patrol the coordinates. I did give them a report of the steps I took. And so we've set precedents with that. And now if you're coming out here, you have to understand that, you know, we are setting up. We got teams looking for children, but we're doing a whole lot more. And we are making a huge difference. Us locking down the Brawley Wash. They say there's no traffic here. Look, guys, the people that are coming out and shooting little videos of our camp saying there's no coyote trash, there's no signs of traffic or anything, they've come through since we washed, and you've got a fresh jug right there. Okay? Now, I'm 100 yards from our camp. Remind you, I'm 100 yards. And this is a major drop spot. It's just a major drop spot on this corner. You've got it everywhere. Here's where they like to come out. And there's a turnaround spot over here. If you go in here, we've shown you. If you go in here, you'll see as you go up, there's also 2 camps set up where they were doing human trafficking. So we don't want anyone to be confused. We are in the right area. We're in the perfect area. We named Operation Backyard Brawl before we knew we were going to be in Brawley Wash. We didn't know. We came and did a search in this area, discovered this particular spot I'm showing you where they're moving up, and we were like, wow, this is a lot of traffic moving in and out of this area. And then private property owner happened to see the video, recognize that, hey, I know the neighbors that are allowing this to take place, and you know, he ended up donating the property for us to use right on Brawley Wash. We have Operation Backyard Brawl. We're put on Brawley Wash. It's a major corridor that they're using. And look, these guys are doing great. We're taking another mountain tonight. And anybody goes and makes fun of this or anything like that, I try, look, you can come out and see for yourself. We're going into the Valley of Lights with a pretty extensive team. And we're going to go up and take a mountain that a spotter's been sitting on. And we have our guys that have GoPro cam, GoPro videos. We had a great law enforcement contact who actually brought our team down from the last mountain and told us we couldn't go past a certain gate next time. So we're going to go take a little bit higher one today. It's a little bit higher than the other one. It'll give us a good view. We have a Jedi coming out in full Jedi garb with his lightsaber. That's going to be putting on a light show out there. Just you know, hey. Just to disrupt it, just to add confusion and chaos. Everything that's being done is being done safe. The area where people are learning how to actually go out and do this is safe. It's not like 10 miles off the border where you got them rolling with AK-47s. You know, they're far removed from the border, but there's still traffic all around up here. And we have neighbors that are here as guides. One of our local guides is taking our team out tonight because we're going to go hit the Valley of Lights again. And you can get on top of these mountains and you can see where the scouts signal down in the valley. And you can look at these houses and they'll flip their lights on and off. Okay, you have people that'll set up in the field posted with a lantern, signaling up, letting them know when it's okay to move through, what area you need to move through. These guys aren't making this up, and it was the locals who put us on this. It was the locals who say, well, this is how they're signaling. The law enforcement officer that brought our team down from the mountain the other day gave us a whole bunch of intel. Dark Skywalker actually has that whole thing recorded, so he has our permission to actually reveal that, but they weren't even really, he wasn't even aware of the light show that we had been able to capture for a week just by going up and filming. And, you know, these are houses responding in the valley to cartel scouts that are up on the mountain. And once we go up and we're posted up on a mountain, you'll see like all kinds of crazy signs, flashings that you normally wouldn't see when we've been posted up in secret filming without them knowing about it. So there's two different, like, you can see how us moving in there adds a whole lot of confusion. And then when we're shining our lights from different mountains and shining our lights back at the scouts over at the other mountains, and we got that big flag, and there's going to be a flag. Flag's going up on a mountain again tonight. We're taking a different mountain. We're going to post up in the Valley of Lights, and we're going to keep pressuring them. The teams are doing a really good job. Volunteers continue to come in, and it's ebb and flow. We have what we need to do what we're doing now, but if we could get some more people out here that are going to come out for the right reason. And don't put anyone out here, any of the ranchers that are helping us, any of the, there's certain people. Are we getting help from law enforcement? Yeah, we are getting help from certain law enforcement. I can say that. There are certain law enforcement elements that are now helping us. And so if you come out here and put any of that in jeopardy, we're just going to get rid of you. And, remember, this is important. We're not just going to go bounce around looking for children. They're being dropped all over southern border. If we want to go down to actually apprehend, quote unquote, people that are moving children, all we got to go do is right down on the border where they're dropping them off. You already have a lot of resources down there. You have Border Patrol and everyone down there, and most of that is happening on the TO reservation, which we can't do nothing about at this time. All we can do is build a wall and set up posts around their entire reservation so they just can't traffic through their reservation into our country anymore. And they can't make these kids be dragged. If people say that children aren't having to walk this far, that's absolutely false. There's kid shoes and stuff in kids' packs where you can tell they've made the trek up as far as 63 miles so far. So that's a long way. And we do know areas where they're piggybacking. And we speak a lot of stuff publicly on social media, so the ones that are doing it and paying attention and are trying to stop us or discredit us or slander us, just so you know that it's not like you weren't warned. And we're doing everything we're telling you we're doing, but we're also doing a whole lot that you don't know about. And at some point, you're going to have to make a decision. Are you going to allow the cartels? Are you going to coexist with them? Or are you going to coexist with your neighbors who are standing out here with veterans on patrol trying to make a difference, trying to get out and do something? And they're not just trying, guys. They're doing. Our teams are doing a great job. This isn't easy. Alpha team has to run in the middle of the heat all day. That is a brutal environment that they work in. I'm telling you, it is hot. It is very hot. It drains you. And then Charlie's running all night. So we've got it set up to where we're running 24/7. Now, we're the only private citizens border group, quote unquote, down here on the border operating 24/7, not taking any money, not having no nonprofit status, but also not being regulated. We're exercising our first, we're protecting it with the second, and we're going out and doing good things. I got to meet a neighbor down when we were setting up in Ultra Valley yesterday. We went down south after the team apprehended 8 individuals, 1 coyote. Went down south to set up a post just to learn some of the AO, and they put us right where they told us to go. Literally fresh horse tracks. The horse hadn't been through there probably about 2 hours, and then the black jugs covered with camo clothing, concealed, freshly filled under a tree. We found water resupply drops along the South Ajo Highway down there. You guys know the area, 86, 286. They're moving up through there a lot. So, I mean, the evidence is there. There's so many people on this side of the border that are helping them that they can easily get up from our border 100 miles north, and just be piggybacked. And they are moving a lot of women and kids. It's acting upon the evidence. So we welcome people that want to come out. And if you don't believe that we're sitting right here in a hot spot, we'll take you right over here 100 yards from our camp. We'll show you exactly all the traffic that's gone through here before we got here. We don't have a problem. We'll introduce you to a couple neighbors once you're trusted, that we know you're not going to throw them under the bus because you have a certain group that continues to try to infiltrate and sabotage what we're doing. They're not coming out here to help us. They're not coming out here to help us stop the illegal trafficking. They're coming out here to stop us because they don't like who's leading it or how it's being done or something like that. And we're doing our due diligence not to feed into that anymore. If you guys haven't seen Mama P's video, it's on our post, and she's our program ambassador. And my mom hit it right on the head. We love her so much. They're bullies. They're jealous. They're envious. They're liars. They're a waste of our time. Every time we stop to try to set the record straight on social media, they win. And that's what they want, is they want us to be divided. They want us to get discouraged. They want us to give up. So no, we've let go, and we're letting God. Mama and all them, and we've got a horde of prayer angels that, our prayer warriors will keep praying over us. We're blessed. We continue to push. I mean, you got to think we're going on a month since we found that sex camp. And that was a sex camp. And if it wasn't, then it doesn't matter, because we're going to be out here anyway. So we don't care whether you believe it is or not. It doesn't matter. That's what mobilized us. And no one else is coming out to build a wall to stop these women and children from being trafficked, these human slaves from being trafficked. You don't have no one else. You got some border groups that'll go and pound the desert for maybe 2 weeks, and then they'll take 2-3 months off. And no, we're 24/7. We're out here 24/7, living out here in the desert, living out here to make a difference. So Border Patrol doesn't have manpower. The more of you that come down and volunteer, guess what? You're giving them the manpower they need, but come down and do the right thing. Don't make us throw you under the bus. Don't come down here and do something stupid, because you're not going to get all these honest people doing the right thing hemmed up. We're not going to conceal or hide any of your bad behavior, okay? If you come down, just come down for the right reason to help us. Once we get this shield established, they're not going to be able to move any women or kids unless they're doing it by vehicles in controlled choke points where you have all the BP and DHS resources there waiting for them. Once we get everything set up, you're going to have less trash in the desert. You're going to have less crime, less properties being destroyed. It's going to be safer. It literally will be safer. So what we're doing is to make our backyard safe. And we're doing it the best way we know how. We're doing the exact opposite of what everyone else thinks we should do. And it's working really good, and we're going to keep doing it that way, because there's a certain reason why you want to do what we're doing the way we're doing it. You have to come out and see for yourself. So we appreciate all your support. We love you. They're going to get a supply thing up. I'm mentioning solar lights for those of you guys. Since we're taking the heights, there's all kinds of washes that we can look down from the mountains. And we are going to be pinging the hell out of them. We are going to be putting motion sense solar lights through them. So the minute those lights start going off in the middle of the night, we're going to set them up on the boundaries inside and outside the wash. The minute they start getting triggered by groups moving in, we'll be able to radio in the coordinates to BP and let them know that they're moving in. They're not going to be moving through this area as long as we stay out here and keep pounding them, as long as we set it up to where they can't move in. So I know they make these little lights that we had at Bravo base. James, or for anyone at Bravo's watching, get a picture of one. See if you can't get the model of that. I meant to take a picture of it the other day, but they're cheap. They work, though. They worked really good, and they're bright. So our guys that are on the mountain can look down in the valley now, same valley that the scouts are, the cartel scouts, and now we can see where they're moving. And they're going to avoid all these washes that we have pre-rigged with motion lights. They're going to have to, because every time they move through them, we're just going to radio in and give up the positions. Right now we're dealing with a whole lot of dope and drug mules. We're not out here for that. Okay, that's just an added bonus of us being able to secure our backyard. We're out here for what got us out here. Little children being tied to trees and being raped by perverts from the southern border all the way up to the city of Tucson where that sex camp was found. And now we're northwest of Tucson, about 20 more miles, and there was a ranch over here with swings set up where you had children that were obviously families being trafficked going through the backside of this farm by one of their pumping stations. And one of the neighbors who witnessed all this that put us on there, they'll tell you there was like 3 nights of fires where they were burning stuff. And our teams got down there and you could see the fresh burn where they had burned. And who knows what all they burned. But yeah, they burned and cleared that up. They haven't gone back to use it because we're still sitting over here. And we can pop in at any minute. So they're being forced to they're being forced out of this area. One way or another, the cartel doesn't want a confrontation this far up north of the border, because guess what? That proves everything we're telling you is right. That proves that they are up here. That proves that we can go take any mountain we want from up here. They can't stop God. They cannot stop God from anything that's happening right now. You're not stopping Lewis Arthur. You're not stopping Veterans on Patrol. You're not stopping the Shadow Sentinels. You're not stopping border teams. You're not stopping border patrol. You're not, you're trying to stop God. And I believe in my heart that he heard the prayers of so many women and children who've been tortured and abused, and we've turned a blind eye to this evil for so long. And that's the reason why, man, we get pounded so hard by the devil. That's the reason why we get pounded so hard with hate, And so we're just going to push through that hate. It's like I told Mama, if you look on that video she did, you got 3 or 4 people spewing hate at you, but you got hundreds of people showing nothing but love and compassion and understanding and support. So we're asking all of our volunteers just to focus on all the positive that's going on social media. Do not engage with Citizens Against VOP. There's a lot of things coming up that you don't have to worry about anything. And that's just because we're being honest and transparent about everything we're doing, and what we're doing is working. What we're doing is working. And we're going to slowly establish the trust with law enforcement and local boots on the ground the way we are, so we can try to let honest people in, because some of the operations we're doing, sorry, we don't want no one to know about it. We don't want no one to know about where our guys are going. We don't want no one about what they're doing. We don't want them to know about anything. So we can't always give you a live video. I know you guys like the live videos. I've told Alpha if they want during the day when they're going through to chase them out and make sure that they're not able to sleep and get rest during the day when you're going to just bust up wherever they're resting. It's okay to go live videos. It's okay to show you guys that. We are going to be recording videos and then uploading them 3 days after operations take place so people can see what happened. You'll probably see some things in the news before it comes out on our end, and you can go ahead and tie all that together, because we will confirm whether or not it was related to us or not. But once again, we're not out here to get credit for what we're doing. We're just out here to do our job. Now, does anyone have any questions right now? I'm going to go through here. I'm not going to scroll through. There's been so many comments. Are there any questions that I can answer before we get to work? There hasn't been any local news out. There hasn't been any local news involved. We don't want media involved. There'll be stories of where people are getting apprehended and large groups are being busted and things like that. But as far as media coming in, we don't want media involved. Oh, I dropped my glasses. Okay, well, I'll have to look for them. I didn't even know that. Let's see. It's getting windy. How's it going, Texas, New Jersey, Oliver? The people who are flashing the lights on top of the mountains, they're scouts. They're cartel scouts. They signal down to the valleys to let the human and dope traffickers know when it's okay to cross. Remember, we're out isolated in an area, and they'll say, well, there's a lot of residential out here. Look, if you look on an overall map, you've got like 5% residential, and the rest of it's wide open land and washes and deserts. Most of the largest property owners out here, some of these ranches that have 600, 675 acres, I'm saying those two numbers specifically so they know who I'm talking about. A majority of all traffic has been passing through here, and it's not us making this up. This is us verifying what their neighbors have told us and who we need to look at, you know. And so this particular area, yeah, you'll see the scouts. They got videos. Michael, if you're watching, I know you got some that's being transferred from your GoPro. I know Dark Skywatcher has some videos of top of the mountain. You'll see where they signal down, and then the people in the valley are flashing their lights on and off. And it's not a Morse code. We've had different people look at this. It's just some type of, we haven't figured it out yet, but we're just going up to stop it. You know, we're going up to interrupt it. So if you have the next 3 days, you come on out, Amanda, you just come on out. We are right off of Manville Road. If you contact Bravo Base, we ask everybody, if you can, just go through Bravo Base first. Go down to Bravo Base, say that you're coming out to volunteer for Operation Backyard Brawl. We want families, we want you guys to go through that camp and understand that how we represent ourselves out here affects that camp. What we do out here affects that camp. And as long as we're honest and transparent out here, then that camp's going to continue to be blessed. And every single thing we get sent that we don't need, it goes down to that camp, man. And, you know, we want you guys to see this for yourselves. This way you guys know that, you know, we're really good at what we do. And the same fire and passion we had to go out and stop veteran suicides and help homeless vets is now being used to go out and save child sex slaves. The same fire. And I think it's a lot more powerful, literally. I know for me, it's, the same fire. The same fire, you know. And our passions can't get the best of us sometimes, but I really don't care. This is ridiculous that this has been going on all this time. I'm not going to feel guilty for not doing nothing because we're coming out every day to do something now. Hey, Tennessee. No, the little boy that was found by Border Patrol was not by VOP. That was down by Lukeville. He got dropped off by someone who, quote-unquote, said it was uncle. That wasn't us. But if you look at the areas we're locking down, we're anticipating more of the traffic to actually flow out over on that side through the Yuma sector. And we're pretty sure that's going to happen because they still have to move. You know, they still have to move. They still have to move their stuff. They've got so much stuff in transport right now, you know, and anytime you lock that up for a day or two, you affect their money. Have we saved any women and children yet? As far as Operation Backyard Brawl, we have not encountered any women or children. Prior to this, yeah, we've got over 38 children, veterans on patrols rescued off of the streets. Most recently, the last one, a couple months prior to this stop, 2 children that were being molested by a pervert in California, and then me and the co-commander drove all the way to Northern California to get another mom and child out of his house after we found out there was another woman and child out there. So have we saved children? Yes, we've saved children. We pulled children off the streets. We've helped children who've been sexually abused. We've helped families keep their kids so CPS wouldn't take them, because we don't think CPS is always the answer, but sometimes we haven't had a choice. And, you know, so unfortunately, sometimes the safest place for the child was CPS because there was no other immediate family member. And, you know, mom and dad just weren't doing the right thing. In some cases, yeah, we found children on these streets that's just been, you know, it's not just an illegal trafficking thing. You know, it's a sickness that's in about every community. You know, it happens in a homeless community. It happens to people who have nice houses. You know, I'm from middle class. I was molested as a child. There's people who are rich who were molested as a child. There's no race, one set race or ideology or poverty level or anything like that. Everyone's vulnerable. So I've already answered, have we saved any women or children yet? Probably more than you guys. Have you found any more tunnels? Out here, no tunnels as of right now. A couple spots that we suspect to have bunkers, but nothing affirmative yet. What happened with the post office? The post office is all settled. We thank UPS and Michelle and everyone out there. Friday, when our team went to go get the mail, Michelle said that she was still being threatened, still being harassed. Now, they are recording and documenting all these calls, especially with the 2 ladies from Citizens Against VOP that's been harassing them. It's a private business owner. The postal inspector, the IG, cleared us of doing anything wrong. And they offered us a year of free mail, and we're appreciative of that. So our mail got interrupted for a weekend. But then we got blessed with a year's full of free mail, and they got found to be filing fraudulent, basically, complaints against us. If you're going to do anything, contact UPS and tell those ladies thank you, because they've got probably about 27-something idiots from one hate group that are constantly bombarding them and calling them and threatening them. Why don't you guys give them a call? You know, the address is the same shipping address. Somebody can post a number if you look it up in this video, but give them a call. Tell them thank you. Tell them thank you for believing in us. Tell them thank you for sticking up for us. And at the end of the day, for not giving in to bullies. Because that's what Mama P told everybody to do. You don't give in to bullies, okay? We're not going to be bullied. We're not going to be bullied to where we stop looking for kids. What we're doing is a good thing. And we're going to do it the same way we did with veteran suicides and veteran homelessness. And we literally made solutions out of that from nothing, without taking money from people. And it's a self-sufficient shelter now, where the vets are in charge, taking care of themselves. You know. Any new findings out in Marana? Just new camps. They're older, but one new fresh one. What we're trying to do right now, and it doesn't matter if they know, because they obviously know by now, is there's like routes they're using in the winter and routes they're using in the summer. Well, all the routes that they've been using in the winter are all these old routes that you can see where they were using when the weather's more suitable for those areas. We're locking those areas down. So whatever routes they're using now, let's say go over to the winter routes right away. I mean, they're I don't know. But, yeah, we found some good things, and we've got a lot of good information, and we want to thank certain law enforcement officials who are actually helping and telling us, you know, we want to know where we're needed. We want to know where they already have resources. They don't need us in that area. We want them to put us where we're needed, you know. And so far, we're getting put in a lot of places that we see we're needed. So we're blessed. Are the scouts armed? We think when you get closer to the border, we don't know of anyone that's up here. We had a law enforcement officer told us the top of that mountain, it's all on the video, showed where there's 2 machine gun nests Those are that's just the way they describe it. It's where they've got rocks barricaded up on a ledge so they can crouch down and hide under, but it's like a shooting position. It's high up on the mountains, and there's like 2 of them at a point where they pointed at to us over there. We don't know for sure whether or not someone's up there with machine guns, but that's not going to stop us from going up there to put the American flag up there. I mean, it's America, for crying out loud, you know, so... Biker found. Is biker found? I'm not sure about that. I don't have any updates on that, guys. Would the wall stop? The wall with a combination of people is the only way you're going to stop it. You're not going to stop it just by throwing a big wall up there. That's just my personal opinion. You've got the only, you know, Americans, you guys have to stop it. The government's not going to be able to stop it. Not if you allow your neighbors who are allowing the cartels to use their land, you know. I mean, you got to stop your neighbor from allowing the cartels from crossing into the backyard before anything changes. And it doesn't do us any good, really, to try to go and cut down the middle or to go down and cut south. Everyone else does that. So we build a northern shield. We make it impossible to pass north of us, and then we start sending our teams down south, and we just push them. We push them down into the TO where they're coming out of. We push them down onto the ranchers that are allowing them. We just stack bodies up. On those properties, the ranchers, if they continue to allow them to move through, they're going to be getting caught left and right, okay? And there's equipment. There's equipment that can go through in the middle of the night and see a bunch of bodies flying over, stacked up on ranches, stacked up in washes. There's certain things that can be obtained and forwarded over. We're wanting the ones who are doing it wrong to make a decision themselves to stop before we go to federal government, Border Patrol, Sheriff's Office, and everything else and show them the videos of how the cartels are going through their property, of how they're signaling back to the scouts, of how they're allowing them to use the cart. It's aiding and abetting. Before going through all of that hot mess, we want to show them that we're going to stay here continuously, that they don't have to coexist with evil. Because I believe in my heart that there's a lot of people who've been left abandoned down on this border that haven't had any help, or just, man, what do? You know, unfortunately, they decide to get in bed with the cartels. We want to give them a chance to get out. We want to give them a chance to contact us and say, hey, can you fix my fence where they're coming up? I'll show you where they're coming up through my ranch. Fix it, post it, put a security guy there. As long as we know you guys are staying here, then we'll help stop the cartels from crossing through our land. That's what we hope. We hope that people will, given a choice to make the right decision, that they'll make the right decision on their own. And that they know that there's hope now, that there are people who care, and that the search isn't going to stop because there's no wall to prevent human trafficking. And as long as there's no wall to prevent child trafficking from occurring in these children that are crossing over, you're going through Miranda and Picture Rocks and the intelligence we got, the people who are doing research, you know, you got 48 pedophiles out in this area. You got 48 child molesters in RAO, some of them for bestiality, and they're going to be looking at you guys too. How many of you are living on these ranches? How many of you are working on these ranches? How many of you are taking an undocumented migrant child for your little sick perversions? Because people, if you think it doesn't happen, then you're turning a blind eye. The government tells you it happens. The survivors who've gone through this tells you it happens. All you have to do is come out here and see for yourself, and there's nothing but evidence of human trafficking occurring up here along the Brawley Wash corridor. And we don't want to let it happen anymore, so we're not going anywhere. Is Danny doing okay? She was doing okay last I saw a bunch of the hate stuff they said about her, but you know, that's well, whatever they said about her, I was a lot worse as a non-believer. And I'm gonna tell you something: if God can forgive me and do this with me, then you better watch what that woman's gonna do with her life, because all you're doing is you're giving her fuel to push forward. And we told her to just use the hate as fuel to keep doing the right thing. So we love her, and we don't care what people say about her. We don't care what people say about me. We don't care what people say about Mama P. We just don't care anymore. It has nothing to do with what we're doing out here. And if they can't support us, then we're just going to ignore them. The flag wasn't left on the mountain. The flag's with my possession right now. I'm getting ready to have to cut this short here in a minute because we're getting ready to go up on a mountain. So the same flag's going up with me on the next mountain here in a little bit. And then I'll have this charge. We'll go to a live video tonight from atop the mountain. We'll see if we can't get some good clear images through this phone when they start signaling, because I'm going to tell you something, it happens every time. Those idiots, even knowing that we're coming, if they're watching right now, are still going to be signaling up because they got traffic bottlenecked up all around us up here, and they got to keep it moving. How are we going to stop them from moving traffic? We can't stop them from moving traffic on the reservation, but we can build a wall completely around it with OPs. And we can take high ground. And while they're still on the reservation moving their caravans, we can have BP and them sitting right there at on America's side of the border, preventing it from happening, you know. And I do believe the FBI has some jurisdiction on the reservation. So, you know, if all we got to do is get in a position where we can get the filming going, the evidence out there that it's happening right then and there, and then give it over to the proper authorities and let them go in and do their job. You know, let them go in and do their job. We're looking for children and women who are being trafficked and held against their will. We're not here to provide citizenship for everybody crossing up or deny citizenship to everyone crossing up. We got nothing to do with that fight. We're out here specifically looking for victims, human slaves that are being trafficked from this border, and we believe, because the government says so, it is a two-way traffic corridor, which means children are being brought up and children are being taken out. And we don't want to let that happen no more in Arizona. Pepper spray. If you guys want to send pepper spray, remember that Bravo Company goes out, and any homeless woman who needs pepper spray to defend themselves, as long as they don't have a severe mental illness or a history of, like, you know, we don't want to give them pepper spray if they're going to end up spraying a cop or someone innocent. But, you know, like 9 out of 10 of them can get a thing of pepper spray or a Kubiton. This keeps them safe. So, yes, you guys send pepper spray. Our teams have pepper spray. We're good. Anything extra you send, we're going to take it to the most vulnerable in our city and give it to them. How can you guarantee the safety of volunteers if you're really messing with the cartels? I don't have to guarantee nothing. God guarantees it. And volunteers have every ability to make their own decisions to whether or not they want to go out with the missions we have. And when it comes to the security, the combat veterans are the ones that are deciding that. And as long as they feel comfortable leading that mission and operation the way it is, then there's no issues. We haven't had issues. You can't guarantee anyone's safety. We're not out here to guarantee our own safety. We're out here to guarantee the safety of the children that are being trafficked through this corridor. We're not worried about ourselves. But, you know, it's in God's hands. No one's ever stood up and fought back to the cartel like this. No one stood up and done this repeatedly, and we're doing it in the worst part of the year. So if we're doing this much damage as hot as it is out here, you wait till it cools down, and then our boots triple, and all of our snowbirds and all of our VOP volunteers are coming down from the north to come down to Arizona to get them some. All we got to do is fight through these first few months, set up everything we need to set up, and I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna make a huge impact. Because we're doing something. We can just do a little bit and be making a big impact because no one else is doing anything. If you got someone saying something stupid, just ignore the trolls, guys. They don't they have no power over us. We outnumber them 10-1. So wasp spray is cheaper. That is right. That is right. No, BP doesn't do this every day. BP chases its tail down here. BP does not do this every day. If BP did this every day, you wouldn't have border issues. You can go to one corridor and wreak havoc and catch a bunch of smugglers, but the minute you got to go to the next one and you leave that one open, they just divert back to that one. So BP chases its tail. BP cannot do what we're doing. They don't have the manpower. No one is doing what we're doing. There is not one border group down here doing what we're doing. 24/7 pounding sand. 24/7 going out there disrupting everything. No, no. And the whole goal is BP shouldn't have to do this. Let us use our manpower, get in the areas to where they don't have to have all their resources 100 miles north of the border. Let's get our northern corridor set to where they feel comfortable and trustworthy enough of what we're doing, that when they see enough honesty and transparency and the radio ends, and us not taking laws, like legal matters, into our own hands, doing stupid things, us weeding out anyone who's coming out here for the wrong reason, us not building a standing army, lining this place up with 100 guns. That's not what we're doing. We haven't given them any inclination whatsoever to be afraid of us, because we're not doing anything to hurt anyone. So I just want you guys to be clear. And it's not that Border Patrol doesn't do a good job. There's a lot of corruption, but there's so many good officers that are fighting corruption and fighting the way the Border Patrol is set up. And it's not set up to help them stop any type of trafficking. It's set up just, I mean, if you really look at it, it's just a cat and mouse game, and they're just chasing their tail. Well, we don't want them to chase their tail no more. So we're going to do everything we can to help them out, and that's going to keep them safer too at the end of the day. When they know when they're going into a canyon somewhere, how many bodies are there, who has weapons, when they have the intelligence before going into a situation, the same way that we could protect the Tucson Police Department by going in with our videos and getting the individuals a certain investigations that were taking place, and then we can say this guy doesn't have nothing to do with it. If you go there, don't attack him, don't make, he's an innocent person, he just happened to have been there. If we can, it's not no if, we give them the intelligence to keep them safe, they're going to be able to do a way better job once we get the manpower down here to help them. See, some ranchers are being, look, there's a lot of honest people that are out here too, guys. There's a lot of honest ranchers. There's honest locals. There are guides. And remember, we're able to take veterans who are in Iraq and Afghanistan, put them in the same desert environment. They have to rely on local guides like they used to rely on over there. And most of the time they were selling these guys out to the Taliban and getting them killed. But here you have local guys who, they have properties. They have their families and children in this area. They're going to do everything to help these guys get the bad guy. They're not going to send our guys into a den of thieves, basically, where they can be ambushed. So we screen very careful, and we trust our local guides. So far, almost all this intelligence you're seeing that's been gathered from out here has all been pointed from local guides that have taken us up on mountains, that have taken us on these hidden trails, that have brought out pictures of these mines where all the trash is starting to accumulate and everything else. This is all local intelligence. These are the locals coming out here saying, we know where they're coming from. We know how they're getting in. And they're putting us on the spots to where we can make a huge difference just by getting out there and disrupting it. Oh, hi, Cindy. Yeah, Cindy was down here. They were down here from Colorado Springs for a whole week. There's plenty of people that's come down here, guys. You can even talk to the Aussies. Don't listen to any rumor of anyone saying. Contact the volunteers themselves, And then when it comes time that we have to remove somebody, we remove them. We're not going to allow this mission to be jeopardized by any individual. All right, North Carolina. We love you guys. West Virginia, New Jersey, all you guys. We love you guys. All right, I'm going to head back over to Alpha. We're going to get our teams up, and then here in a couple hours, you'll see an American flag perched on top of a even higher mountain in the Valley of the Lights. And we're going to go shut down the north section of Blanca Wash, Brawley Wash, and keep stacking these bodies up on these ranchers' properties as letting them cross through. So God bless you guys. We'll give you updates later, and we're going to keep on keeping on. Thank you for everything.